We are live. What's going out there, YouTube? We are back for a live discussion. I've got here hosted with me CINNAGAMING, Melvin, and Alexandria. Y'all want to introduce yourselves? Whichever one you want to go first.
Shit. I would say we could flip a quarter, but fuck it, I'll go. For those who don't know, my username on YouTube is JVS Alexandria. In terms of movies, albums, and TV shows, I do like reaction videos, reviews, and I promote my own art as well. So yeah, a little bit about myself.
All right, guess it's my turn. All right, so my name is Melvin. I started my channel, CINNAGAMING, and I want to talk about video games, a lot of independent games that I enjoy playing, but eventually I'm going to start doing comic book reviews as well.
Oh, nice.
All love with that, both of y'all. So tonight's episode's name is Now. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is full spoiler, so if any of y'all have not looked at the episode, please don't watch this because this is gonna be nothing but spoilers. So let's go ahead and get it cracking. So what did we think about tonight's episode? I'll let you go first, Jorels. What are your thoughts? Just small, brief thoughts about the episode tonight.
I think it was a solid episode. The first thing that comes to mind is Rick. Mm-hmm. That was really interesting. I honestly didn't think we were going to hear about Rick or Glenn. I didn't think we were going to hear about Rick until, the mid-season finale. So to kind of just see him just, bam, on the spot, I'm here, was really took me aback because I was like, it's just going to be another so-so episode maybe. But no, I thought it was great. The addition of Rick was really surprising, so I think it was a solid episode.
Okay. What about you, Melvin?
I thought it was kind of disappointing because, and this is just because I'm waiting to find out what happens to Glenn. When they say previously on The Walking Dead, they actually show Glenn, so I'm like, yes, they're gonna talk about what happens to Glenn. Mm-hmm. And of course, they make an attempt to go out and save him, but we gotta wait till the next episode or the episode after that.
I was just about to say, honestly, I don't think we're gonna hear anything definitive about Glenn until either the mid-season finale or sometime in February on some real shit.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like they're waiting for this defining moment of finding out what happens. But I mean, like we assessed last time we had this discussion, is that I think, no, it was just you and me and Jarrell, is that the fact that every time that somebody really dies, that somebody actually has a witness to what happened. Like, you actually kind of see it, like, what happened to the person. Glenn's the only person they have not definitively shown the body or what happened to him. So they're building up for that. The problem is, for me, looking at this episode, I feel like they're dragging it on a lot longer than it should be. Like, either just stop talking about it and reveal it, or, I didn't have a problem with the Glenn aspect of this episode. I didn't. The problem that I had is a lot of inconsistencies as far as the whole arc in general. Because with the last episode, if y'all remember, Morgan was with that wolf at the bottom of the cavern, and then he was walking out the house, and then he heard somebody yelling. That was Rick's voice. Now we know that was Rick's voice. But yet, sure, Morgan wasn't in the episode. And on top of that, there was dialogue supposedly with Carol that Rick had. Carol was not in this episode. And then Michonne, for a brief time, kind of talked to Maggie. There was no real dialogue there. She was not in the episode. I mean, I thought that there's a reason for that. I feel like there was some kind of conversation that happened between Morgan and Carol that they're probably leaving for a specific episode. If they are, I don't necessarily like that because they're jumping now. It's not just they're separated and having different story arcs. They're in the same space and not having any kind of, dynamics of what's going on. That's what kind of deflated the episode for me a little bit. I understand, like, you need to talk about the sub-characters such as Aaron. I think he's a strong character. and I think he has a lot of guilt that he's dealing with, and he's justified. Even like Deanna's son, you know, he had like kind of this, you know, interesting moment. I was going to ask y'all about his character in a little bit, and even Deanna, but it's like everybody else, I really don't care. Like Claire and her kids, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like Morgan seeing Rick and them kind of dealing with, like, you know, what happened, or even what happened to Rick. We have no idea how Rick got out. So I felt like that was not established in this episode. Just Rick got there. Morgan's situation was pushed to the side, and then we just kind of got like the sub characters plots. And I don't know. I feel like this is kind of the weakest episode for me. But let's talk different characters. So first, I would say Deanna's son. What did y'all think about him in this episode?
I mean, again, I thought it was a solid episode, and I felt like I think we could have done without. Was his name Spencer? Was that his name? Okay, I felt like we could have did without the focus on him. To be honest, I just kind of felt like bad timing, but at the same time, I don't know, it was alright. I wasn't like mad about it or like, oh damn it, every time he was on screen, but I just felt like the moments with him, I think could have been moments of information from like Michonne or Carol or something. But it was alright.
Yeah.
I thought it was sufficient. I didn't lean too far either which way about it, positive or negative. So.
Yeah. What about you, Melvin?
All right, just to make sure, this is the kid whose father got killed by Rick, right?
Oh no.
No.
Spencer's
Deanna's son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you think about this character? I thought he was kind of shady. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know, he's kind of an ass. Like, he did something to save the town or whatever, and now, I don't know. I really don't like the character too much so far as from what I've seen in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he can't be trusted, and then he talks down to his mom, and he kind of seemed like he's gonna take a heroic role where he kind of stops everybody from raiding the pantry. Then he goes and he steals everything, and he's eating and drinking and getting drunk. So I really don't know what to say about this character.
Yeah. One thing I would like to say about the show is that, or at least about this episode, is that I didn't mind it. I thought there was a good sense of. I mean, the issue with The Walking Dead right now is the sense of balance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if on one hand, had they had done what you wanted, and we saw kind of where Morgan is currently in this episode, where Michonne is, where Carol is, where Maggie is, some more into Rick, and then maybe Jessie. You know what I mean? Like, I think it could have become a clusterfuck, kind of like an Age of Ultron situation where there's so many ideas stuffed into one space. It's like, oh my goodness. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that they're like, all right, let's lean on these people. Let's show where they're at. You know, with Aaron and Maggie, and you know, we'll get there. You know, we got 16 episodes. We'll get there. I didn't mind, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like with Spencer, I understand to a degree. Like, he's dealing with fear. Not just that. Me and Melvin had this conversation that these people were spoiled. Like, they had no realization of what the real world was like. And Deanna, everybody blames her, but there's nothing wrong with her dreaming for a better reality. It's just she had no backflow. Like, if something really did happen, she was not prepared for it. And that's the reason why she's unraveling now. Like, I looked for her almost to kill herself. I was like, what is this girl going to do? You know, like, I was scared. I was thinking that either one, she was going to open the gate, kill herself, or she was just going to keep getting pushed to the point she does something just totally out there. And, like, when she got attacked, I was like, oh, flip.
I think it's still plausible that she's a suicide risk on the for real. Like, I don't know about her, man. She's super sketchy. Like, Yeah, I think she's I think she's sort of lost it a bit. I could honestly see her just walking into a horde right now.
Yeah, just sitting there, what, banging on the fence, and then all of a sudden the fence starts bleeding. The walls start bleeding. I'm like, what do y'all think about that? What in the world was that?
Well, first off, I didn't think it was bleeding. The first thing that came to mind to me is that I thought that there were screws, like
Mhm.
multiples of them were unscrewing from the wall. That's what I thought I saw. I could be wrong.
Hmm. I don't know. I'd have to relook at it again, but that's an interesting perspective. But what was that? I mean, I saw like holes, and then I saw stuff oozing out of the holes. That's the thing that I
Hmm.
didn't understand. Um, so do you think somebody like intentionally is trying to sabotage the wall, or do you think it's just that many of them pushed up against it, the walls are not going to stand? It's going to be like a Lord of the Rings 2 situation about to happen.
Um, I mean, they gotta get in there pretty damn soon, man. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Hmm.
But one thing I did want to throw out there because I wanted to see what you guys thought of it. The guy who plays Aaron,
Yeah.
he spoke about the season finale of 6,
Hmm.
and he said, "I think it's probably the most wrought, like emotionally wrought, dark episode I've ever read, regardless of this show or not. I've never seen or read an episode that is so dark and so compelling in my life."
Hmm. What?
Yeah, he said that it was tough. It was a tough. It was tough to read. It's phenomenal writing, but it's just so emotionally dark and twisted that we had to put it down several times.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's two different things I think about with that. One, if he's reading the script, then he's gonna make it to that point because they wouldn't have him reading the script if he wasn't gonna get to that point. That'd be irrelevant for them. I could see like mid-season finale, like him reading it and knowing where his character's gonna go, but they wouldn't have him have the whole season finale script if he at least wasn't gonna get to that point. But
Interesting.
if
Yeah.
that's the case, then I mean, him going back out to try to save Glenn, which I thought he would do, or try to at least see if Glenn's still alive, that may not happen. But more than that, like it has to be a civil war kind of thing going on within the group. I don't think it's anything to do with the Wolves. I think the Wolves, if they do cast Negan, and he is part of this, I mean, yes, it's gonna be really dark, but I feel like there's gonna be more of a civil war that's gonna go inside of the group. What did you say, Melvin? You said that you saw when Rick had kind of came back, somebody got uneasy and like they were about to pull the gun out.
Yeah. When Rick came back, it showed someone kind of reaching for the gun that was in their holster, and it looks like they were about ready to draw it. And then that's when Aaron stepped up and he started talking about that it was his fault that the wolves came over because he's the one who lost the backpack and they found it. And then they didn't show that person again. They didn't show who it was. They just kind of showed them reaching for the gun. So
Mhm.
at first I thought it was I forgot that kid who kind of gets who interacts with Carl in this episode. I thought it was him reaching for a gun.
Are you talking about Jesse's son, her oldest son?
Yes, I thought it was him reaching for a gun at first. So that kind of like earlier you mentioned. Well, actually, I'm getting a little bit off point, but I believe if it was him, this is why they kind of focus on him in this episode.
Yeah. Now that's interesting thought because I mean, going back to what Jarrell said, what do you think is going to happen given that information? Like, who you think is going to be, you know, what do they mean by the darkest thing? What is the darkest thing in your mind that could happen for this show? Both of
For
y'all.
the season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, of course, it's gonna have to be a death of one of our favorite characters,
Ooh. Shit.
and then I mean, I think it's too early to kind of predict what the season finale would be for this because it's still kind of early in the game, I guess.
Yeah.
So from here from then, I mean, anything can happen, and usually they kind of twist it up in the second half.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be irrelevant to make predictions at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I do think it may. there may have to be a major death for sure for something. If it's that bad,
Yeah.
either there has to be a major death, or I've always sort of feared that there might be like a major conflict between, Morgan and Rick. I feel like there could be like a butting of heads between the two.
Yeah.
I could see a situation like that going like really sour, and that would be super savage.
Yeah. I mean, the darkest thing that I could think of, real talk, and I don't want to go this dark, but if something ever happened to Judith or Carl,
ooh,
bro,
I just thought about that.
Rick, and if he blamed Morgan or somebody, no matter of fact, it wouldn't even have to be Morgan's fault. If something happened to either one of them, he would take it out on whoever he wanted. And I don't know too many people that could stop him. And at the same as that time, if I had to think about a major character dying, it'd probably be Daryl. Now, I don't want him to die, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the two things that I could see as some of the darkest things that could happen for the show, but are plausible. Like, those things could potentially happen at this point, given the wolves, given everything that's happened. But gosh, man, I don't want to think that dark.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that, I don't know. That description was just so specific. I was like, damn, that's it's got to be something super bad.
You're right, man.
Like, it does make me wonder if they would be so bold as to not address Glenn's death, not even in the first half of this season. Maybe just like delay it.
Bro, I would be so pissed off. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, they need to just tell me if the man's dead. Like, I mean, I kind of figured that he's gonna die, but this is the way it's looking for me. And I don't know if we ain't got that many people looking, so I can kind of go as much as I want to with this.
Sure.
With how they've been taking like single characters and giving back to their backstory, and then telling one segment here and one segment there, I feel like there's going to be a whole 1 to 2 episodes just showing what is happening to Glenn. Because that's kind of how they've revolved this whole entire series, like just recently this season. So I'm thinking to myself that like either for the mid-season finale or maybe afterwards, they have this just one segment for showing what's going on with Glenn. And I'm going to dislike if they drag this out too long, because the more they continue to drag it out, it's like people are going to be sorely disappointed, one, and they're going to be like, okay, if you just told us that he's dead, we could grieve over it and move on and still enjoy the show. Whereas some people are so invested in the fact of him being alive that they are thinking about turning away from the show. And it's like it's helping them from a rating standpoint because people are anticipating something to let us know what's going to happen. But then the longer they draw this out, the longer people are going to get pissed off. And the longer they might be disappointed, like, because there's some people don't think it's possible that he's alive. If they find some kind of nitpicky way of bringing him alive, that's gonna be bad too. So they can't let this draw out much longer, man.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I can't remember what the little girl's name was. I think it was Sophia.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I mean, they drew out Sophia for like, it felt like a long time. I can't remember specifically. But like it felt like a really long time, and I feel like Glenn is sort of like the new Sophia in that sense. And I mean, people are like, "Oh, well, Glenn was in memoriam." Well, I mean, immediately after Sophia went missing, I mean, she wasn't in the memoriam either because they didn't know. I
mean, but it's different though because we saw all these walkers on him. Like, he has to be dead or bitten. Period. Like, I mean, even if he was underneath the trash can, he would have to have his leg bitten. Now, I can see this. Now, this is something I haven't even talked about. Hypothetically speaking, he did get bitten on his arm. He was able to get away, get into the trash can or something like that. And he cut his own arm off or cut a limb off. He's still going to bleed to death. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not too many ways this man can stay alive. Like, even if somebody calls it a distraction. I was thinking to myself this episode, I was like, okay, Maggie and Aaron, which that segment with them was interesting, like being in the sewer. I was like, what the heck is wrong with you, Maggie? But I was looking for like maybe a flare to go up or something like that. Like, okay, he might be alive, you know, like that would have been the ultimate end to this episode. But they didn't do that. So I'm like, I'm done thinking about him being alive. I'm just like, just show me him dead. You know? That's how I feel.
Yeah. I think your boy is dead. I think he's dead, man. Like, for real. There's no way. Oh my God. It's
The only thing I could possibly think of, which still doesn't make sense, is that you see how in the earlier episodes where they kind of cover themselves in the guts or whatever of the zombies and they kind of walk with the zombies, whatever. I'm kind of thinking, and this is I guess even far-fetched or whatever, but maybe the zombies eating the first guy, somehow the blood spilled on Glenn and they kind of thought he's a zombie and so they don't bite into him. That's the only, I guess, thing I could think of. But even still, it'll be a miracle if he survives or if he doesn't get bitten. Or on top of that, the person who gets killed, if he turns into a zombie, he's gonna be on top of Glenn anyway. So he might just turn around and bite Glenn. But I don't know. This is just little things that I think of. But it doesn't look like he survived. I don't know how he could have survived.
I don't know. I mean, I guess one main point that I haven't really gone into too deeply is that, like, is this really the time for Walking Dead happy hour? Like, do you know how happy people would be if Glenn survived? You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like seismically happy. And that just seems unlike The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine, like, let's say Glenn's, like, he's limping in through the town. People would be like, yeah! Like, I honestly do not see that happening. I think they're going to do something really twisted, really messed up, for sure.
Yeah, it has to be some level of loss. Like, he has to have lost something. Even if it's a limb or his mind or... It has to be some kind of weight to what happened to him other than the fact of him surviving. He has to come out damaged or other people damaged emotionally. One or the other. I'll say this, though. If this dude ends up dead, it's going to add so much more weight to the rest of the series forever. Like, there's never going to be a point that you look at a Walking Dead and be like, oh, man, I can't get invested in this character. You know, like, it'll add so much more depth to it. Yeah, it'll be on Game of Thrones status, to be quite honest with you. So it might be in their best interest to kill him, but I don't know.
Yeah, man, I think it'll hurt the credibility of the show major if he survives, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I give the episode like a 7.5 out of 10. This is my least favorite out of all of them, especially coming off of like the Strong Morgan episode. Even like with the guy Ron, I didn't necessarily like. I don't trust Ron. I don't know how y'all feel about him. Ron, Jesse's older son. I feel like he hates Carl. He's got his dad's vindictive anger. And I feel like he only wants to learn how to shoot because he wants to turn it on Rick.
That's exactly what I thought. That was exactly what I was thinking. I was like, low key. I think his little ass is lying. I think he's gonna try to.
And you know something? You guys mentioned earlier about the Dark episode. What if Ron kills Judith?
Or Carl? They don't even. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, if he kills Judith and Rick finds out or catches him in the act, just think about that for a second.
Rick's gonna kill him. It's gonna be real simple. It's gonna be real simple. This dog gonna be dead on the ground. He's gonna have his foot on his neck. And he's gonna blow his head out.
It'll be the quickest you ever saw someone get shot in your life.
I mean, this is another thing I don't like, and I'll say this because we're on a live stream.
Yeah.
I feel like Rick's relationship with Jesse is just, I don't know, it's stupid. I say it's stupid not because Rick doesn't deserve happiness. I just feel like they're not a good fit, and her family is kind of poison in a lot of different ways. Like, I mean, yeah, he barged in and killed her husband, but I don't know. They just don't mesh, period. I thought that Rick and Michonne would have made a more viable team, companionship-wise, and they understand each other. Like, if anybody Rick really respects, and listens to is Michonne. She's the queen, in my opinion, from the group. But they just kind of forcing this Jessie and Rick scenario. I don't know why. And I don't know what y'all's thoughts on that is, but I don't know. I don't like Jessie's family, and I don't trust them. I don't think it's going to work out. I'll put it that way.
I almost feel like it kind of makes sense to me. Like when you think about Rick's psyche here, get a little bit deep, but seriously though, like it sort of fits. You know what I mean? Because at the current time, him getting with Michonne, I feel like there needs to be like a deep reason for them to get together. You know what I mean? Because I almost feel like a brother and sister bond between them.
I mean, at first I thought that, but then the way that well, I guess this is like different with this season. The last few seasons, her interaction with Carl has been more like a mother. It hasn't been like a sister or anything like that. Like she really brought Carl back from his thought process about his dad, and as well as when Rick was far gone, like she was the one up in his face and there for him. So I don't know. This season they kind of haven't had any real Rick and Michonne dialogue. It hasn't gone anywhere. Probably because so much has just happened. But I don't know. Let me see. I got quiet real quick. Y'all still there? Oh.
Yeah, we're still here, man.
But I don't know. What are y'all? You got anything else you can think about? I think we hit the 20-minute mark.
I don't know. I mean, personally, I thought it was a good episode. I didn't think it was great or excellent or anything, but I thought it was good for sure. I mean, I think if they tried to sort of please everyone and sort of like cram in like a little bit of Daryl, a little bit of Michonne, a little bit of Carol, I think it could have been a little bit messy. I'm kind of glad that they're taking their time. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to give some quality storytelling, it looks like, hopefully, anyway. And so I didn't really mind it. I could have done without the shit with Spencer, though, honestly. That's my only one little gripe. I was like, every time he was on the screen, I was like, can we skip this guy? Like, but other than that, I thought it was pretty damn good. Especially the stuff with Maggie and Aaron. I was like, damn, this is messed up, man.
Yeah, I mean, Maggie pregnant, and I mean, she almost got killed. They almost got killed in that darn sewer. I was like, yeah, they ain't making it out.
And I'm telling you, bro, I think they might be so bold as to sort of delay the answer about Glenn, even past the mid-season finale, maybe.
I think so,
maybe. Wow.
I think if it goes past mid-season, it's just gonna drive people crazy like myself, because I hated season 2 where you're talking about Sophia. I hated.
Oh yeah.
That started in episode 1, and she was gone all the way until the 8th episode.
Yeah.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, and that was brutal. I can't live through that all over again with Glenn.
No, it's true, because a lot of people that I know, they stopped watching the show during the second season because of that. They were like, they were on the barn too long, and then Carl just got shot, and then they still couldn't find Sophia. A lot of people turned away from the show. I had to really talk people back, like, look, go to the 3rd season, and then keep watching. You'll see something good. So yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Well, I mean, one point that a friend of mine said, he was like, bro, if they don't reveal Glenn's fate in these first 8 episodes, think about how many people are going to tune into the premiere of the second half of this season. And I was like,
I don't know. I think people might stop watching it, because I almost stopped watching The Walking Dead after season 2, after the whole Sophia thing. To go through it again with Glenn is really gonna piss me off. and I'm sure I don't speak for myself in this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's gonna be like people like you, Jor-Els, that's gonna be like, it's like, I mean, I just really want to know, I mean, after I find out the result, I might quit the show or not. But I feel like there are some people that are thinking about quitting, like Melvin. Like Like, look, you need to tell me soon, or else I'm gonna invest myself in something else.
I mean, look, if they want to delay the answer for a while, I mean, fuck. But but personally, I would be more pissed if Glenn was alive. I honestly think that's just bad storytelling.
Too happy.
I mean, to make Glenn still alive is just, it just feels like an honest cop out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like almost like, Tom Welling's Smallville Superman gets his head cut off definitively with a kryptonite blade, but somehow he comes back. It's just like,
Yeah.
nah, bro. Nah, you just, there's some things you just don't do, and falling in a horde with the weight of a dead body of someone on top of you, you're surrounded, you just die. I'm sorry. You just die.
There was a meme that I saw today. It was like, right before they get like kind of held up, right when they're in front of the big trash can.
Yeah.
It was like Oscar the Grouch was like at the trash can, like, get in. I can't tell you what's gonna happen, but get in right now.
Oh, one thing I do want to throw out there is that if what happened to Glenn and Nicholas happened to Jody and Billy, like some how every few episodes they have like some random cast members
Yeah.
who just like die within the first 10 minutes. Okay, let's say Jody and Billy or whatever. Exact same things happened to Glenn and Nicholas, and Glenn and them, they had to disappear after they saw the fall. Would anyone really be questioning whether they lived?
Nope.
No, because
no one would be like, oh, well, because that one dude fell on top of him. Like, no, they'd be like, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like in the story,
I mean, that's the thing about mainstream television versus like something like Game of Thrones. Like, you got people that ship characters and they consider them untouchables. And Glenn was a definitive untouchable in people's mind and perspective, unless they'd read the comics. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. But I don't know.
Yeah, ain't no Melisandre up in here.
Oh, stop. But I don't got anything else, y'all. Anything else y'all want to say?
Just to wrap it up, just to say what I thought about the episode. I felt like the Morgan was kind of a filler, which I was okay with because I wanted to know his story. And then the next episode is this, which I felt was also a filler. So they're really testing my patience. So I'm hoping the next episode we get some action, we get some answers to the questions that we want to know.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about this episode.
I think there'll be action. I don't know about any damn answers, but I think they're keeping the cards close to their chest for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this season started off so great. Please don't ruin it. That's what I have to say.
I just hope they answer where the hell they were going to take the horde. I mean, are they taking the horde to like a giant waterfall? Like, I'm confused.
I don't know. And I mean, like I said, the thing I didn't like about this episode is the fact that they didn't show how Rick got out. Is that going to be a separate episode? And what the hell happened to Morgan?
I hope not.
Like, I mean, they didn't show. Like, he didn't just, all right, I'm in the RV, and I'm not going to tell y'all how I got out of the RV away from all these. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it.
I'll bet money right now. I don't even think they're gonna brush on it.
And that's stupid. Because, I mean, that was one of the things about that episode. People were thinking, how's Rick going to make it out? And how's Glenn going to get out? And they just have Rick run. I mean, yeah, that dude's on his cardio level on fleek, but how did he get away from, Anyway, I ain't going to keep going on to this. We ain't going to drag us out much longer. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
I'd probably give the episode like I'll probably give it like a 7 out of 10 personally. This episode.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 for me.
7 or 7.5. Everybody, YouTube land, go and check out these two guys' channels. JV Alexandria is in the description bar below. Definitely go and subscribe to their channel. And CINNAGAMING, definitely go check out his channel at the bottom as well. Cinna, you about to go start doing your comic book reviews, and then you got a documentary going up, JV. So y'all stay locked for everything they about to gang up and everything.
Also, Fallout 4, the unboxing, the boy edition.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then I'm gonna say this publicly. I haven't talked to you about it yet, Jarrell, but I think I'm gonna have a Star Wars month. December is officially Star Wars month for me. I'm gonna start reviewing all the Star Wars movies and TV shows.
Oh,
And I would like for us to have like discussions at least throughout that month. So I don't know. We'll talk about it.
no, yeah, and just a small little for the Star Wars heads out there, because I know there's many of you watching. I reviewed all the prequels, and reviewing the original trilogy really, really soon. So,
Y'all have to see his review for the Clone Wars.
Oh.
I even did a reaction to it, and I could not stop laughing. That's all I can say. I can always say. But thanks everybody for watching. We're out, everybody. Till next week. Peace.
Peace.